Hi everyone, I'm Sonia Doing, and I am a creative writer. I have a couple of novels out, as well as a book about how to write a novel. And I heard from a lot of other writers lately that they're having issues finding their creativity. And so I wanted to share with you, I've shared this at other events, um, as a speaker and as a writing coach on how to connect with your creativity. And I'm going to switch these up a little bit for these times, right? Because we're all a little bit more stressed than normal. And yeah, I want to talk about these 7 hacks. And let me pull them up here real quick. All right, so number one, we need to give ourselves more permission to be creative, right? Right now, we're sitting at home or at home. There's a lot of projects that we can do around home, right? I could, let's see. Well, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work to do around the house. And I could do all those things. And we also always have that list of things that we have to do. We have to work, we have to cook dinner, we have to wash the dishes. We have to put creativity on that list as well. We have to be creative. So, what I want you to do is to write it down, piece of paper and a pen, and write down, I am allowing myself some creativity. I'm allowing myself to be creative. And I can tell you all too that for those of you who may have um, not connected with your creativity in like the last year or so, don't worry, you can get it back. I had the same issue. Um, I had a life event that basically took me away from creativity. And after a year, I finally went back, and it took me a while to reconnect and get into creativity, but it worked. I've been more creative now than I was in my teens. So please don't worry, you can get it back, and we'll work through that. So that hack number one was give yourself permission to be creative. Hack number two is finding the space and the time, which might sound a little strange, but number one, um, set aside time and write it on your calendar to be creative. So, for example, tonight I'm scheduling time in my calendar. I know it's written down, and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write. And that time is important because you want to be able to focus on your creativity and what project you're doing, right? Whatever, if that's writing, if that's coming up with a new graphic design item, or whatever that might be. So give yourself the time. And when we talk about space, it's finding the space that you feel the most creative. And I'm not necessarily saying, go and create a space, although you might have to because we're stuck at home. But sometimes that turns into a a way to waste time, where you say, "Oh, if I clean my desk, I'll feel more creative," and you clean the desk and you're still not writing, right? You're pushing things away by doing other things. So don't do that. What I want you to do is to find a space in your house, or maybe it's on the back porch, maybe it's the front porch, maybe it's the kitchen table, and find the space in your house that you feel the most creative and map that out for your creativity time. And also, while we're going through this video, feel free to comment about where you found your most creative space in your house. In normal times, I write actually in a co working space. And I also love writing in our convention center in the big hallways with all the sunlight. So when this whole thing is over, I would say explore your city, explore those places where you might feel more creative writing. But right now, let's find that space at home. All right. Hack number three, leave your problems behind. And what I mean, number one, right? We have a lot of issues right now going on in the world, and there's a lot of problems that we hear on the news. Number one, don't watch the news, especially right before you're getting in your creativity time. I'm watching the news once in the morning, and that's it. I walk away from it. If I turn on the TV later on, like I've got Star Trek on right now, I just don't have the sound up. Um, yeah, or watching Picard on CBS All Access. That's been awesome. Um, but stay away from the news if you're going to move into your creativity time. Other problems that might happen, right? Maybe you're worried about having enough toilet paper, So, what I want you to do is before you move into your creative space, sit down into a chair or go somewhere and say, okay, I'm leaving my problems right here and walking away from them. And when you walk away, just leave them there, all right? Basically, we want to relax and we want to bring our alpha waves with us when we sit down to write. And when I talk about alpha waves, so there was a research study done where two sets of people were given a riddle. And people, they kept this one group stressed and the other group was relaxed. And the relaxed people, as they were relaxing, their alpha waves raised and they were able to answer the riddle. The people who were stressed weren't. And what they've realized is that alpha waves help with creativity and connecting, those two different dots that we wouldn't normally connect, right? So it's all about kind of relaxing into our creativity. So we're trying to work on getting rid of the stress and increasing our alpha waves. So what I suggest is when you go to sit down in your creative space is that you bring pen and paper and your laptop, depending on which you prefer to write with. Sometimes we come up with different ideas when we write with a pen, but set a timer on your phone for 5 minutes and just start writing. And just write as fast as you can. And maybe in the beginning it's just ideas, and then maybe suddenly you get into a story. Sometimes, and I've seen this a lot with writers, is that when we do this, when we force ourselves into this time limit, we come up with ideas we didn't realize we had. So definitely set a time limit and just push yourself to write. And then after that 5 minutes is over, if you've got an idea, just keep rolling with it. Okay. All right, hack number 5 is to unplug. Turn off the notifications on your laptop. Turn off the notifications on your phone. Or turn the sound on your phone off so that you have that time to focus. And also, don't go on social media. If you're like me, I'll be on social media and suddenly I'll see something and I'll end up watching a cat video, right? I call that chasing the squirrel. It's like, oh, this is cool. Don't do it, right? Because what happens, social media is feeding your brain, but what you want to do is be creative and create ideas from your brain. So when you get on social media, that kind of blocks that. So when you're in your creative space, make sure to unplug. Hack number 6 is to wander. Wander with an O. Wander means to be curious, to know something. Maybe after that 5 minutes you've been writing, maybe you come up with an idea about a story in the Amazon, right? So, which was my novel idea was in the Amazon. And so maybe go schedule some time later, not right away, but to do some research about the Amazon, whether that's online or watching a movie on Netflix about the Amazon. But when you wander and explore ideas, maybe you'll come up with other new ideas. So just a thought there. And hack number 7 is to wander with an A, right? Which means to kind of explore, right? To walk or move in a leisurely or casual manner. And if you're not stuck in an apartment in a city, hopefully you have access to walking around your neighborhood, in your parks, getting some open space. There's a ton of research out there that shows that we tend to be more creative after we've had a little exercise. So, and if you are stuck in an apartment, maybe do some jumping jacks or follow some health videos online and do some workouts. But when we move and when we move, we create energy, which can create some creativity. All right, so those are 7 hacks. And right, that was give ourselves permission, find time and space, leave your problems behind, bring a notebook, pen, and laptop, unplug, wonder, and wander. And that's it. So I hope this has helped everyone. And right, those hacks should hopefully help you connect with your creativity. And yeah, if you have any comments, please feel free to comment in the comments and share with us how you found your creativity. What space in your house has worked for you? If you had to do anything special to set it up, and like blocking your cat from sitting on your on your on your laptop, which I've seen a lot of that. And I think that's it. Everyone take care, and we'll get through this.